All right, I'm gonna do a quick, just little show of EndNote. I thought that might be helpful. So I'm gonna do a screen share here. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna share my desktop. Okay, here we go. Okay, so down here in my doc, you can see I've got the EndNote app. And if I open it, it'll open my EndNote library. You can have an EndNote library on your desktop, and there's also one online. I don't use the one online, I just use my desktop, and then it'll save to my online one every now and again. So if I scroll up, I'll just give a quick orientation here. That's a little bit slow. Um, Great. Okay. So if we look over here, you can see where it says all references. I have 10,157 references saved in my EndNote library. And if I click here by author, it'll, it can sort them. So here it's sorting them alphabetically, or I could sort them by year. Um, so if I wanted to see the most recent docs that I have, they're right here. Or I could sort them by title. I could sort them by when I added them. And then when I open up a Word document, okay, so we've got this Word document open. I've gone through this process to link my EndNote to my Word document. So if I write, don't want to write in the header, this is a sentence, and then I want to cite the sentence, I would go here into my EndNote. Let's say I want to cite this one, and I click this little button right here that says Insert Citation. And when I click that, it comes over and it brings that citation right into my EndNote. And if I scroll over it, as you can kind of see here, I have, again, my word set so that when I scroll over hyperlinks, it'll show me that it's a hyperlink. So then I keep typing. I might add another sentence, another citation here. And let's say there's a specific citation that I want. Maybe I want to cite myself. So I'll put my name up there. And it'll, kind of show me all the citations that have my name in them. And so maybe I'll organize this by author. And then, okay, here we go. Like, here's the one that I want. So I'll click on it. And then again, I click cite, and it'll add that in, and it'll update my reference list. And so then I keep going. And let's say I'm going to add one more here. Oh, I keep doing those inside the things. That's okay. So I'm going to click back over to my EndNote, and this time I'm writing something about inflammation. And so I can't remember the name of the author. I'm thinking, what's that? What's that article that addressed inflammation? And then here it'll show me where inflammation is the title. I can go, oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, so I'll click on this. Again, insert it, and now we've got 3. Now let's say, oops, I actually didn't want that there. I wanted it here. So I can go into EndNote here and click Edit Manager, and I'll see, oh yeah, that's the one. I didn't want that to be there. So I'll click in here and I'll remove the citation, say okay. Then I'll click back in here and I'll re-put it in. And then let's say actually this third citation, this Alanazi, I also want in here. So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to go back to my EndNote. And if I look in the My Library, you can now see my document, document 5, and it'll keep a tab of every reference that I have listed in this document. So let's say I wanted to add the Alanazi. So I'll click citation. It's going to add it. And it's going to update my whole bibliography. So now I've got 2, 3, and 3. So some other tools, once I have my EndNote linked, I can set the style that I want. So right now, I'm using the JAMA format. Let's say we decide we're going to submit to MDPI, so we want to update our format. It'll go ahead and update it. So it'll change the style in the reference list, and it'll change the in-text citations. Let's say one of these citations, I want to change how it shows up. Um, so might say like, for example, and then I want to have an in-text citation of that Alonza. So I might could copy this one over here since I've just already got it here. And then I can go into my edit manager and I'll click down here on format and I could say display as author and year. And it's taken a little bit. Ultimately, there we go. Um, so in I have it in MDPI format, so it's going to just put it right in there for me. Maybe I don't really like that. And I actually want to say, for example, Alanazi et al. And then put the year, which would be 2022, stated, blah. And then I can just go ahead and delete this. Or if I still want it to be here, but I don't want it to show up since I've already referenced it, I can go back in here and I can select show only in the bibliography. And we'll just give that a minute. So it'll update that so that it shows only in the bibliography. And then while we're waiting for that to happen, one thing that we've noticed at Nourished is if someone doesn't have a note linked to their Word document, these citations can become lost. Okay, so now we've got a silent EndNote right here. So we'll just say, okay. Okay, so now we've got our document. And let's say, okay, so I'm going to share this with someone who doesn't have EndNote. And if I do that, these citations, the hyperlinks that you see here will become lost. So when they hand the document back to me, all that will show is just a bracket and a number. It won't link to my EndNote. I won't be able to change the formatting. It won't be recognized in my reference manager if I go into my EndNote library. So the way that you can prevent that from happening is if I go up here to this tool menu and I click convert to unformatted citations. And then now you can see if I scroll over these citations, nothing is highlighted. So it's unformatted. It's not hyperlinked anymore, but it's coded so that EndNote will recognize it. So what that means is I could send this document right now to someone who doesn't have EndNote. You can see there's no reference list. They could work in it. And let's say they say, oh, Brenny, you need to add this, this Al-Nazi citation up here to the first sentence. So you could copy it. I just did control C and control V for paste. So I could just copy paste it right in here. When you add citations into the same kind of bracket here, you want a semicolon with no space in between. And let's say, I thought we had a third citation in here too. Yeah, Bray. So let's say they think, oh, you should also add this Bray citation right up front. Okay, so we're going to add that one. Cool. Move this space. Okay. Now they could send this back to me, and it's still going to show up just like this. My EndNote is not going to recognize it because nothing is hyperlinked. But if I go back oops, sorry, that's not how. If I come over here to style and I click update citations and bibliography, it's going to recognize the format. So it's going to update the formatting. And you can see it's kind of doing that now. It might take a minute. There we go. And so now it's updated them. You can see I've got a reference list again. If I scroll over them, they're hyperlinked. If I want to go back to using JAMA format, I can do that and it'll reformat them into JAMA. There we go. And so then I've kind of got my working document here. The other thing that's really nice about EndNote is so you can have this huge library of styles. I only have a few showing, but if you click up here to select another style, you can see they've got this humongous library. When you go to publish or submit a manuscript for publication, this is really helpful because each manuscript has their own style. It's specifically their own citation style that they want used. So if you are, changing, let's say I'm writing a manuscript and I'm planning to submit it to one journal. So I'm using that journal's template and that journal's style guide. And then we decide, oh, abandon ship, we're going to publish in a different journal. Let's say we're going to publish in BMC cardiovascular disorder. I can choose that one. And again, it'll just automatically update it for me. So it can save a lot of time that way. The one thing you want to watch out for is it doesn't update the punctuation. So if I'm using a superscript citation style like JAMA, the superscripted citation would go after the punctuation. Whereas if I'm using like a bracketed or a parenthetical citation, like MDPI or APA, that would need to go inside the punctuation and there would need to be a space added, So that is kind of one element that you still need to attend to. But overall, it's really just a phenomenal tool to use. It is for cost. That is one caveat, though you can get a 30-day trial. There also are some free online citation managers, and I'm not super familiar with any of these. I've always used EndNote, but I know Zotero is one. So if we go to Zotero and we click in, let's see, you can log in. Zotero is free, so you can download Zotero. And as you can see here, it's going to look pretty similar to the EndNote library. So you'll have your library, you can, it'll show you your resources over here. And then I believe there's a way, and I'm sure this kind of walks through, that you can click in and add your citation. I'll switch back over to EndNote for a minute. One other thing that is really helpful about this is like you can see here, you can create groups. So I was really interested in the 5-HT2A receptor. And so I have a whole group of all of my citations on that receptor. So here it shows 5-HT2A. Oh, there's nothing in that one. And then I can have these little subgroups here. So this reference is on 5-HT2A in cell birth. Here we have some references on systems level connections of cells. Here we have some on cell function as they pertain to 5-HT2A. So I can just kind of sort and add all of these. And as you can see, I have quite a bit of different kind of groupings, which is for me can be really helpful if I'm for example, I'm creating a qualitative analysis course for NIH, and there's this Wooditch 2024 document where they go through sample sizes that are needed to achieve thematic and subthematic saturation in qualitative analysis. This is a document that I use quite a bit, and I share with students quite a bit as well. So it's handy that I can just kind of have it right here. The other thing is if I'm writing an email, which I don't have my EndNote linked up to, and I want to provide the citation, I can still go into my EndNote, click on it. The citation will show up right here. Right now it's in APA format, but I could change that if I wanted, highlight it, and then I could copy paste it right in. I can also, if I double click, it'll kind of show me all the details. So the author, the year, the title, all of this, etc. The abstract, which is really handy, especially if you're offline. I can add my own notes in here. I've got a URL, and then I can attach the actual document. So I have like instant access to all of these documents, no matter where I am. The last piece that I'll add here is how I get these documents in my library. So if we go to PubMed, and you can find the same thing on Google Scholar. let's say I want to download, um, I just published this complementing integrative health and binge eating disorder publication. I don't have it in my EndNote yet. So when I go into the publication page on PubMed, I'll click this send to, and I'll scroll down and I'll click citation manager. And then I'll click create file. And then that'll download. So here it's going to show me my EndNote file. So if I double click on this, it's going to take a second, but it's going to download it into my EndNote. So now it's showing me the imported references page, and here's my citation right here. And I can open it up and it'll show me all the details in there, and then I can just start citing it. So it's really, really a nice tool in that. I'm going to trash this one because I actually already have this citation in my EndNote, and I don't prefer to have duplicates. The other thing that you can do is, let's say there's a field that I find a lot of citations. So I'll just use this for example. I'm searching myself here, and I've got 8 publications, and let's say I love all of them and I don't have any of them in my EndNote yet. I could select all of them or as many of them as I want. We'll say 6, and I could send them to EndNote in bulk. And so then it shows up right here. I double click it, and here we go. Boom. It's going to just right away download all of those citations into my EndNote. And I'm going to go ahead and delete these again because I already have all of these in my EndNote. There we go. So it's a super easy tool, and I imagine Zotero kind of works the same way as that. So you download, yeah, if you go right here, you can kind of get a little list of how it works and how to start having that on your library. So it's something that I definitely recommend. I'll show just in case anyone is interested. Here's EndNote. So you can buy EndNote, it's in its 21, or you can get a month trial for free. You can download all of the styles. So this would be like JAMA, MDPI, APA, AMA, etc., which I kind of showed. So as it updates its style guide, you can update that in your desktop EndNote. And it's got some really good support, I find. If you log in, I haven't logged in a while, so it might take me a minute to remember even how to log in. Okay, so we're going to go, I'm going to try the EndNote Online Classic. And it's got my email address. I'll put in my password. Sign in. And what you're going to see is once it signs in, you'll basically see the exact same thing that I showed on my EndNote desktop. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I'm using a lot of storage, it would like me to know. So I have all my references here online as well. And those are current up to the past time that I sync my desktop EndNote with my online EndNote, but you can see they're all here, which is really nice. So if you get a new laptop, it makes it easy to just kind of transfer all your citations, or if your laptop gets stolen, or if you're at a place without your computer or anything like that. So that's EndNote. And let's see, I'm going to stop this recording.